In this video, we are tracking a massive storm system across the central and eastern U.S. The National Weather Service has already started issuing winter storm warnings and severe weather outlooks as all types of weather can be expected this weekend. Which type of weather will you have to deal with? All that and more coming right up. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. It's getting busy out there. How many times have I started a video like that? Well, I'm not lying to you. There is a whole lot to talk about, so let's not waste any time and jump right into it. All right, let's start off looking at that NAM 3-kilometer model, focused in on the entire lower 48 as we go over this radar rundown. Remember, this is what the radar could look like as we go into the future. Date and time always going to be above my head. Blues, snow, greens, rain, yellows, and reds are more than likely thunderstorms. Let's just get a general overview of what's going to happen today. We're going to continue to see snow and possibly heavy snow break out between Kansas all the way up past Chicago into Michigan by 10 p.m. tonight. Also got some heavy snow down here in Colorado and New Mexico, Oklahoma, maybe even around Tulsa there. We're going to have a little bit of a problem with freezing rain, but this is just the beginning stages of what will become our major storm that sweeps through the entire eastern half of the country here. Something interesting here is that this band of snow almost wants to stay stationary from about 7 p.m. tonight all the way into 3 a.m. That's going to put down some pretty good snow totals. And then as we go into tomorrow, around noon, 1, 2, 3 p.m., you can see we've got some storms popping up down here in the south and east. This is where we do have a slight risk of severe weather tomorrow. We also have a 5% tornado risk, okay? So tornadoes are possible down here tomorrow. We'll talk more about that here in a second. Still got that big band of snow back here, but it's starting to move east. By the way, everybody out west is pretty quiet during this time. You're going to be getting a little bit colder, especially the further north you go. We're going to start seeing widespread rain down here in the south and east, more severe thunderstorms possibly down there working into Georgia and South Carolina, and that snow band is still here. This storm is going to start going up the east coast, which means that this band is going to start pivoting up towards the north and east. And during that pivot cycle, it's also going to be a little bit stationary. Look at this. Around 5 a.m. Saturday morning, now we're seeing widespread snow down here all the way into the southern portion of the U.S. Look at this. Possibly from Mississippi way up into Quebec, we're going to be having heavy snow on the backside of this storm. Additionally, more severe thunderstorms possible down here in the southeast. And then let's go all the way to the end of the model cycle, and now we have, once again, close to a blizzard up here in upstate New York through western portions of Massachusetts into Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. So this is a broad view of what everything's going to look like over the next couple of days. Now let's start zooming in. Let's really start to pinpoint this forecast for some of the local areas, and let's start with the severe weather threat. All right, we have a multi-day severe weather threat down here in the south and east. This is for tomorrow, Friday, and as you can see, we got a big slight risk area from Columbia, South Carolina, all the way down into Florida. And then also, like I mentioned earlier, we have that 5% chance of tornadoes down here. And this includes Panama City, Tallahassee, all the way up through Statesboro, Savannah, Georgia, and of course, Columbia, South Carolina. And then on Saturday, the severe weather threat moves east from Virginia Beach all the way down through Wilmington into Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. You guys can expect severe weather on Saturday, and the tornado threat's also going to be there for Saturday. In fact, I think it might be a little bit increased. Let me explain why. Starting off around 4 a.m. tomorrow, okay, this is Friday, March 11th, you can see we got some storms forming down here in the Gulf of Mexico. This is associated with that big plume of moisture that's coming up and slamming into that boundary, which will start to create more storms in the late morning hours, okay? 9 a.m. Jacksonville, you're hearing that thunder. But I think the best chance to see severe weather is actually going to come from this secondary area of storms that comes in a little bit later in the afternoon. Here we are around 5 p.m. I think severe weather is going to be possible there in Tallahassee, all the way down into Apalachicola. Some of these could be embedded supercells, okay, and we could see some isolated tornadoes. Also notice how some of these little bands of smaller cells are popping up all the way up through Georgia later into the evening around 10 p.m. I also believe we might have some problems with those, as those could also go severe and potentially tornadic during this time. But remember, the main threats are going to come from these training areas of thunderstorms with hail, damaging winds, and flash flooding. That's going to be the main thing. The tornado threat is relatively small. Now, as we get into Saturday, here we are 2 a.m. on Saturday, you can see that the dynamics are changing a little bit. We have our cold front sweeping through. That's going to turn everything into a big squall line, which will actually increase the damaging wind threat, okay? So once again, from areas in southern North Carolina all the way down through Florida, starting early in the morning on Saturday, we are going to have the chance to see a big line of strong thunderstorms come through, potentially with damaging damaging winds. And the closer this gets to the coast, the more likely it is that we're going to see tornadoes. I am a little bit more concerned about the clear area here out in front of the storms in South Carolina and North Carolina, possibly even southeastern Virginia on Saturday, okay? Even inside of the line, okay? Even inside the linear lines, we could still see quick spin-up tornadoes there. So I think that the tornado threat's a little bit higher the further east that we go, but still, it's nothing crazy. The main threat here is going to be damaging winds. One of the reasons I'm a little bit more concerned about tornadoes on Saturday is because of the lower level jet stream. Look at this nadir juice, buddy. You're reading that right, 84, 87 knots, and you combine that with the storm motion and the surface winds, and I do believe that these storms will be spinning down here. These are going to be morning time naders, okay? So make sure you have your coffee early on Saturday if you live out here, just in case that warning does come through. And then make sure you have a plan in place. You need to know exactly every detail of your plan before this happens, okay? Not going to be a widespread tornado outbreak, but it doesn't matter when the tornado comes down your street. Whenever there's severe weather possible for your area, it's always important to have your own personal radar app that's really good. And of course, I'm going to recommend Radar Omega, which is today's sponsor. Radar Omega, more than just a radar app. I've been using Radar Omega on my phone since way before they sponsored the channel, and let me tell you why. It's fast, smooth, and it always just works. It's the most customizable radar app that exists, and there's nothing even close. You can not only view radar, but also satellite and model data as well, and you can view those in 3D. Also, a network of live cameras across the US allow you to see what's really happening on the ground as that storm approaches your neighborhood. Check out the links in the description to figure out why tons of Ryan Hall Y'all subscribers are now using Radar Omega as their #1 trusted source of weather information on their phone. Now, let's get back into the video. All right, let's focus in a little bit more on our snow now. Once again, by 11 p.m. tonight, we're going to be seeing moderate to heavy snow from central Michigan all the way down through Chicago into Illinois, Missouri, parts of Kansas, and then way back in here into New Mexico and Colorado, also Oklahoma. Once again, it's possible that this starts out as a little bit of freezing rain and snow down here near Tulsa and Oklahoma City, but I'm not expecting a huge ice storm out of this. Zooming back out, let's push this forward. We're going to continue to see heavy snow along this band for a really long time. Once again, this is 9 a.m. and now we're seeing that snow way back here in Texas, a little bit more sleet and freezing rain back here in Texas and Oklahoma as well. The further south we go, the more concerned I become with the ice threat, because look, Tulsa's already out of the ice by this point where they're seeing all snow, but I do believe there's an area between Dallas and Abilene that has to watch out for some ice accumulations that could cause some problems. Pushing her forward, the snow is going to get out of Oklahoma City and Tulsa by 5 p.m. tomorrow, and now we're talking about heavy snow in Arkansas, okay? Even all the way up here into Toronto, you guys are going to be seeing snow at this time. Let's keep pushing her forward, and that pivot point is eventually going to happen. Look, our storm's coming together down here. It's going to travel up the coast. That means whoever ends up under this band of snow while the pivoting is happening, you are going to end up with, heavier accumulations because you'll be under the heavier bands for a longer period of time. But look at this. The NAM 3 kilometer is saying snow's going to be possible all the way down here in Shreveport, Louisiana, snow in Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Memphis, Jackson, Tennessee, heavy snow, by the way, in Tennessee there, around 12 a.m. March 12. Okay, so this is going to be interesting to see how far south that snow actually gets. Let's keep pushing her forward. Heavy snow now in the Appalachian region of eastern Kentucky, West Virginia as we get into the early morning hours on Saturday. Also Ohio here, western PA, upstate New York, you're starting to get in on the snow. And look at this, Middle Tennessee, heavy snow still. And then if I push this forward, we're still seeing the heavy snow in eastern Kentucky. Now it's in eastern Tennessee, still down here in Alabama, northern Georgia now. West Virginia and PA are getting clobbered by the incredible snowfall rates there. And like I said earlier, we're going to see close to a blizzard in the northeastern states here as this thing ejects off to the north and east. It does look like a lot of Virginia, Maryland, and southeastern PA is going to be seeing snow around 1 p.m. on Saturday, but the heaviest snow is going to be happening up here in New York, western Massachusetts, and into Vermont and New Hampshire, okay? Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you look at it, I don't think that this is going to be a coastal snowstorm. So Portland, Boston, Providence, even Hartford and New York City and all these places on the coast, I think you're going to be mostly rain for this storm. I'm going to go ahead and show you the snow totals here, but remember, the further north and east you go, there's going to be even more than what this model shows. Okay, so here's your snow totals. Crazy big numbers up here in the higher elevations in New Mexico and Colorado. Look at that. A little bit closer to sea level, and we're seeing a little bit, more realistic kind of totals down here. But look at this. Over here in Kansas, we could see 5-6 inches of snow, maybe around Kansas City. By the time this is all said and done, around 8-9 inches of snow. Remember, this model, the NAM 3 kilometer, is notorious for being a little bit bullish on the totals. So this will be on the higher end of what you can expect, but just south of Kansas City in central Missouri here, around 10 inches. Way down here in Oklahoma, we're talking about 2 or 3 inches. And then, of course, maybe an inch or so in northern portions of Texas up here in the Panhandle. Now, according to the NAM model, there is a big snow hole here as that cold front ejects, and it takes a while before that pivot point really pauses the advection of that precipitation area. But look, even around Little Rock, maybe 2 inches of snow. Memphis, how would you like to see 3 to 5 inches of snow? All the way down into Birmingham, possibly 2 inches of snow. And then all the way down, possibly near Jackson, Mississippi, the NAM is putting down an inch of snow. Look at that, 13-14 inches near Jefferson City. Eastern Kentucky looks like a good 10 or 11 inches. And then we start to see some real big totals over here in southeastern Pennsylvania. 18-19 inches down here south and east of Harrisburg. Remember, this is high end. This is not a forecast. Up here near Scranton, 15 inches. And look, there's still even more to come. Some of these totals will be realistic up here in upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. By the time this is all said and done, you guys are certainly going to get more than a foot. And look, Philadelphia, once again, you're right on that line. Maybe an inch or two here, but if this moves just 30 miles to the south and east, you're talking about 3 to 6 inches. So yeah, that's the most snow you can get according to the NAM model. But there's more models out there. Let's take a look at those by switching back to our old graphic system for a minute. This is the Euro model, okay? And look, this is a lot less of a big deal when you look at this model. We're still seeing possibly an inch of snow way down into Mississippi. We're talking about 3 or 4 inches through a lot of Kansas and Missouri. And for the most part, everything looks pretty similar here, except for the higher end totals, okay? We're only talking about 3 to 6 inches in eastern Kentucky. This is a little bit better for Philly, okay? 4 inches possible, but there's not that big foot or more swath that's popping up like we were seeing in the other run. Heaviest snow is almost certainly going to be falling up here in Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York, where I do believe a widespread foot or more is going to be possible. But even here on the Euro, it's a little bit more conservative. The Canadian model is a lot more bullish with the snow totals, okay? A lot of Pennsylvania up into upstate New York is going to see 6 to 10 inches, and then everybody north and east of here in the snow zone in Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine seeing well over a foot of snow, near 18 inches for some people. And then that heavier swath of snow does exist all the way down into eastern Tennessee here. So as you can see, the Canadian is a little bit more on the side of the NAM, not as crazy, but still certainly a major snowstorm. GFS looks really similar. A very big swath of snow all the way down into eastern Tennessee. And then we get back up over the 10-inch mark towards, a foot and a half as we get into upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and northern portions of Maine. And I know what you're thinking, like all these models are different, Ryan. What do we go with? Me personally, I like to play the conservative game, so my official forecast is going to follow the National Weather Service. And this is the latest from them, okay? It's also pretty conservative in some areas, but if you're hoping for snow, this forecast is it's never going to make you feel bad, okay? If you pay attention only to the highest numbers, 9 times out of 10, those don't come true. So a conservative forecast is the way to go. We're talking about a general 3 to 6 inches through a lot of Kentucky, 2 to 3 inches through a lot of eastern and middle Tennessee. But still, look, maybe an inch of snow through a lot of northern Mississippi and Alabama. A lot of Arkansas also potentially getting an inch of snow. A lot of Ohio is going to be seeing 2, 3, maybe 4 inches. And then things just really blow up in the interior Northeast up here. This is what I think's most likely right now. However, I do believe that this could all come a little bit further to the south and east, just a little bit, and the totals could be kicked up just a little bit because the short range modeling does suggest that. And just so we're not leaving the central U.S. out, I do believe that this is also a good take, a general 3 to 6 inches through here, and then a general 1 to 3 for everybody else outside of that. Oklahoma City, you're included in that. The panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas are also in that 1 to 3 zone, with obviously some higher totals in the higher elevations of New Mexico and Colorado. All right, real quick to end this video, let's talk about what's next. We've been talking about this forever, okay? I've given you guys the biggest heads up on this winter storm I think I've given for the entire career that I've had here on YouTube. I can't even tell you when the first time we mentioned this pattern flip was. I think it was a month ago. Could have been dumb luck, all right? I'm not a weather wizard. I'm not claiming to be. But now let's look into the future and figure out what's next, okay? Let's look into the crystal ball here with our red blobs and our blue blobs. That's going to get out of here. We're going to see a little bit of a disruption here in the form of a very small trough through the Rockies. What's going to happen with that is it becomes a little bit of a cutoff low here that tries to float off down towards the Gulf of Mexico, and this is going to disrupt our nice weather on the East Coast after this. If it wasn't for this, man, we'd be having fun in the sun for a lot of us. But this will bring more rain showers and potentially some thunderstorms for a lot of people in the Southeast as we go forward. And look at this, guys. I think this is the pattern that we're in. These blue balls are just going to be giving us a hard time. We got one blue ball coming through Tuesday into Wednesday. Right after that, we got a pair of blue balls Friday. These are once again going to be trying to bring down a little bit of cold air with them, bringing up some moisture. And the big deal here is that these could spark off some severe weather events, especially in the southeastern portion of the U.S. So we don't like the blue ball pattern. And there's another one all the way back out on March 22nd. This could cause some lift on the southeastern side, cause some severe weather problems, and then continued threat for snow showers on the northern side. But as far as I'm seeing, other than the blue balls, there's no big giant storm system coming through. Things look generally quiet other than our nuisance storm systems that we'll just have to analyze as we get closer to them. So now you know when somebody says, man, I wonder what the weather's going to be like as we go through the end of March, just say we're in a blue balls weather pattern. Hey, huge shout out to our members over here. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my other channels, specifically Ryan Hall Y'all Clips. That's going to be the channel that I post on from now on for anything extra. Vlogs, clips from the streams, maybe additional live streams from the Storm Seeker. I even think I'm going to combine the shorts and the clips channel and just call it Ryan Hall Y'all Extra. And that's just where I'm going to put everything else that I don't necessarily want to put on this channel. So let's get that one to 10,000 subscribers, and I will see you all tomorrow in another video. Goodbye.